This was a targeted attack on the Capitol Gazette.
Now at 6, an attack in Annapolis, Maryland on journalists. How the news isn't stopping those who worked with the victims from covering this tragedy.
Plus, starting today, Lake O releases being reduced, but it's not happening for Southwest Florida. We'll show you where and what we're still dealing with on our coastlines coming up.
The search for the suspect who robbed a woman in downtown Fort Myers continues today. How surveillance cameras are now helping police crack this case.
Live from ABC 7, this is News at 6.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for ABC 7 on this Friday morning. I'm Jen Stacy.
And I'm Emily Burris. As you make those weekend plans, we want to check in on your forecast for Friday and beyond. We'll do that with meteorologist Jim Dickey. He's got our most accurate forecast on this Friday morning. Good morning, Jim.
Hey, good morning, Emily. Good morning, Jen. And, of course, good Friday morning to you at home as well, Southwest Florida. Off to a nice start. In fact, take a look at the sky out over the Fort Myers area. Already some nice color out there, even as we're still about a half an hour away from official sunrise. 77 degrees right now. There are a few clouds out there in our skies. Humidity values right around where we expect to see them this time of year. Take a look at ABC 7 real-time radar. I have been tracking areas of rain so far this morning. There were a few areas of heavier rain about an hour ago. Now, most spots are dry. There's still patches of rain offshore, and generally they're working their way toward the coast. This little downpour has been lingering offshore here for about 30 minutes now. It's showing signs of fizzling out, but we'll see if some light rain at least can work its way towards Naples Park and North Naples over the next couple minutes. We jump down towards Marco Island. There are patches of heavier rain to the south here. They're going to miss Collier County to the south, but one little downpour could hit Marco going forward through the next couple of minutes. Now, here's your planner for the day. We are going to keep the chance for showers and thunderstorms in place as we work into the afternoon. The bulk of the rain will be across our inland communities, that is. I'm going to take a look at your storm tracker model, show you where the best rain chances are, coming up right back here in about 10 minutes.
Gerald Fishman, John McNamara, Rebecca Smith,
Robert Hyacin, and Wendy Winters. These are the 5 victims of the shooting that happened in Annapolis, Maryland on Thursday. Those 5 employees of the Capitol Gazette, some writers, editors, one a sales assistant.
This shooting happened yesterday afternoon in the newspaper's building. 2 other people were also hurt during the shooting. Investigators say that they arrested this man, Jared Ramos, for that shooting. And we've just learned that he has been charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder. Police say he filed a defamation claim against the Capitol Gazette 6 years ago, but it was dismissed. And this morning, police are still searching for evidence related to the incident.
As ABC's Kenneth Moten reports, investigators are still searching for a motive to this tragedy.
Overnight, police in Maryland searched the home of the suspected gunman in what appears to be the deadliest attack on journalists in the U.S. in years.
This was a targeted attack on the Capitol Gazette.
Shots fired at the Annapolis, Maryland newspaper yesterday afternoon. Investigators say the suspect, 38-year-old Gerald Ramos.
Guy was holding what looked like a big shotgun, pointing the gun deeper into the office, like he was targeting people.
Inside, 5 people killed, another 2 injured. Employees scrambled for cover. Others hid from the shooter. The paper's crime reporter Phil Davis tweeting, "There is nothing more terrifying than hearing multiple people get shot while you're under your desk and then hear the gunman reload." The retired editor of the paper says the suspect had a history of social media threats against him and the paper for reporting on his guilty plea to stalking his ex-girlfriend in 2011.
He kept track of both the reporter and I. He knew we had left. So I doubt that he was looking for me when he came in that door, but he was certainly looking to retaliate.
The Gazette's sister paper, the Baltimore Sun, wrote tributes to the victims: Gerald Fishman, Rob Hyacin, John McNamara, Rebecca Smith, and Wendy Winters. This morning, their newspaper's front cover, the Capitol Gazette refusing to let the tragedy stop it from covering the story.
ABC's Kenneth Moten with that report.
And this morning, we know that there is one victim that has ties to Florida, and that is Robert Hyacin. He was the editor at the Capitol Gazette, and his brother, Carl Hyacin, is a famous South Florida novelist. He wrote Hoot, which turned into a movie, and it was filmed in Boca Grande. He also wrote several bestsellers, including Bad Monkey, Skinny Dip, and Razor Girl. After learning of this tragedy, Carl posted this picture on his Facebook page. This is him and his brother, Rob. He says Rob was one of the most gentle and funny people he's ever known. He ended the post by asking everyone to keep his family in their thoughts and prayers and encouraged everyone to hug their loved ones like there's no tomorrow.
Officials are expected to give another press briefing on this tragedy. ABC7 will bring you the very latest updates as we learn them in that briefing with law enforcement. We have team coverage of the Annapolis newsroom shooting coming up this morning. Gio Benitez, George Stephanopoulos, and Brad Garrett will all be live starting at 7 a.m. coming up on Good Morning America.
Our time right now is 6:05, and the Lake County Sheriff's Office is conducting a death investigation right now. It is happening on Payne Lane in North Fort Myers. Officials tell us they arrived at that scene at around 7:40 last night. Investigators say that their Major Crimes Unit detectives responded to that area, and they have deemed it a homicide.
ABC7 is watching this investigation closely. We do have a crew at the scene right now working to get some more information on what happened. We'll have a live report from them with the very latest information coming up at 6:30.
Right now, officials are working to find this missing girl. Her name is Jasmine Zamora. She is 15 years old. Investigators tell us that she's from Homestead and was last seen near there. They say that she was wearing glasses. She has long reddish-brown hair. Investigators say that she may be in the Hialeah area. If you have any information, please contact the Florida Department of Law Enforcement.
Take a look at some of these new pictures this morning of a Collier County deputy who got into a crash with a truck. It happened last night on Immokalee Road in Naples. The front end of both cars pretty banged up. Officials say the accident does not involve alcohol.
Starting today, the Army Corps of Engineers will begin reducing, even stopping, releases from Lake Okeechobee. But, unfortunately, not here on the Southwest Florida side. Yesterday, the Army Corps of Engineers announced that they will reduce releases on the east coast into the St. Lucie River. The reason here? The river is smaller and apparently gets less tidal flow, allowing for more algae blooms to be there. Many living along the Caloosahatchee say this is the worst algae bloom they have ever seen.
The hands are tied on water managers, and it's really a time that our community needs to take up the rallying cry and finish these projects that we've already started.
The lake sits at above 14 feet, and the Army Corps of Engineers will continue to monitor releases and make adjustments as needed.
Today, people in Southwest Florida are coming together to try and stop more of the releases from Lake Okeechobee. They're planning a rally on the Sanibel Causeway tonight. ABC7's Julianne Dell joins us live in the studio this morning. She's finding out what the people who plan to participate in this rally really want to see happen. Julianne?
Good morning. People I talked to say that they're not expecting an immediate stop to those releases, but rather they just want to keep spreading the word because they say these discharges affect everyone.
Southwest Florida today and for the next several months is a dirty water destination.
Carl Dygert owns a waterfront motel on Matlacha and says the brown and blue and green water is bad for business.
They know there's a lot of particulates. They know of the algae blooms, and quite honestly, they're not too excited to take a tour or even come and stay, in our town of Matlacha.
He says he'll be in attendance Friday night to help spread awareness.
The point of the rallies is to demonstrate in order to educate the public.
Since the last rally, he says they've seen an increase in participation, and that's the goal.
We're not just a bunch of people waving signs in hopes that something will occur.
Meanwhile, the Army Corps of Engineers says they're working on a solution, introducing a plan for a reservoir south of the lake.
Clearly, this is an ecosystem restoration project. By its very nature, there will be environmental impacts.
Until then, Dygert is hoping to see more than 100 people at this rally because he says the discolored water impacts everyone.
If tourism drops off, jobs will become non-existent in these service areas, and it will affect the entire state and everybody's pocketbook.
Now, this rally coincides with one being held on the East Coast, where those releases from the lake are blamed for the algae in the St. Lucie River. It will be held on Sanibel Causeway from 6 to 9 tonight. Live in the studio, Julianne Dell, ABC7.
Governor Rick Scott, meanwhile, is taking more action now to combat those algae blooms. Yesterday, he announced the Florida Department of Environmental Protection has now partnered with the South Florida Water Management District Those groups will be identifying additional funding for more water flow monitoring stations along the Caloosahatchee. These monitoring stations will help us know where the watershed is coming in and how it's adding up so quickly. Sanibel Mayor Kevin Ruane was asking for these monitoring stations, and he says this is a big win.
Time now is 6:10. The cameras in downtown Fort Myers are helping police find out who stole a woman's purse. Some new surveillance pictures show the man. Pictures come of the suspect from cameras that were installed after the 2015 ZombieCon shooting. Police say the victim was having a late breakfast when the man you saw in those photos came out of nowhere, grabbing her purse. Investigators say if you recognize the suspect in this robbery, give Fort Myers police a call.
Following breaking news again, everybody. This from Cape Canaveral, as we've been talking about this morning. That is the Falcon 9 rocket launch and Dragon supply ship that's on its way to the International Space Station. We actually have some images right here that we can show you as they see from NASA TV that launch taking place. In fact, let me recue this video. We can see it once more. Here we go. Here it is behind me. If you guys want to take this full screen, give the folks who missed this another look here. But again, this is carrying about 5,900 pounds of supplies, everybody, and science experiments and resources, things along those lines, to the International Space Station. It's SpaceX's 15th cargo launch to the ISS, but NASA, of course, has been on top of this with their Twitter feed. In fact, even just posting this gift here, I'll raise it up here above this graphic for you. But they're saying that as of right now, the SpaceX is right on schedule. As you can see, this, what is this called? That's the Dragon itself, I guess. That's what it is. That's the Dragon itself being safely deployed into outer space, again, on its way to the ISS. But another cool thing this morning is that this rocket launch was visible from right here at home in Southwest Florida. We're getting some pictures from viewers this morning. I want to thank you for sending us your photos. This is from Christine Dunbar. She took this photo from her front yard. As you can see, the rocket launch very visible from the other side of the state. Here's another photo that she sent us as well. So if you happen to see that this morning, send us your pictures as well. We also got some viewer emails as well, unsure of what this bright light was in the sky. We had some people take some pictures of this bright light, send them to us, asking us, hey, what's going on here? Pretty sure that what we're seeing is that SpaceX rocket launch from Cape Canaveral. So again, if you've got photos to show us, send them our way. We would love to see them. 6:12 is the time. Let's send it over to a two-shot. Jen and Emily over there. Guys?
So cool to be able to see, and thank you for sending those pictures, and we're going to try to keep using them throughout the morning.
Yeah, we got some neat ones on our Facebook, too. Some funky clouds happening out there.
Very cool. All right, do you want to make someone fall in love with you? Turns out you may have the power to do just that.
All right, next at 6 o'clock, learn what to do, what science says you can do to help sweep that special someone off their feet.
These are some tangible tips I know I had never heard of.
Interesting.
Plus, a South Florida firefighter making some history. How far she traveled on her board to paddle her way into the history books.